NFL Week 16 is here, baby. We got games all holiday weekend long. Let's talk some football. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven, and we are here to talk NFL Week 16, baby. We are so very close to the NFL playoffs. I can't wait. There's a lot of playoff races going on right now, including my Seahawks, who just pulled out a 92-yard drive to beat the Eagles on Monday night. That was pretty freaking sweet. So their season is still alive. NBA video will be out for Thursday games, so stay tuned for that. It'll be out a little bit after this video. Thank you to everyone who has already become a Jabo MVP. If you do like our videos and we help you guys out, hit that join button below our video or on our channel page. May have to use a computer to do it, but we get some badge emojis and prioritize responses. But most importantly, it helps support the channel for just $2.99 a month. Thank you. I appreciate all the support. Now, before we start, this is what we got going on. We got the NFL Week 16 trends. Then we're going to talk Thursday Night Football preview and best bet. And then our Week 15 best bets. We've been on a roll lately, guys. And those trends are 99 and 69 on the year. So those have been pretty solid too. So let me know if you guys have been tailing it or if you guys have any other trends. Leave in the comments below. After the best bets, we're going to give that trends parlay. See if we can win for the third time in 4 weeks. And then we finish it with that head-to-head bet between me and Ryan, which I am absolutely crushing him on. And then the bets recap. So we'll wrap it all up. But again, this is just the game bet. So the player prop video will be out on late Friday night like usual. So that's what we got going on. I'm ready to get into it. Hit that like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe if you are new to the channel as we try to reach 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. All right, let's start it out with those Week 16 trends. All right, let's go. 99 and 69 on the season are these trends. We got a lot of them for Week 16 because there are no buys. So Thursday Night Football, Rams 17-4-1 ATS in the last 22 games in the month of December, 10-1 ATS at home during that span. And also to go with that, the Saints, who they are playing, are 6-14-1 against the spread after a loss since the start of 2021. Rams are -4 on Thursday Night Football. We will be talking about that game. Steelers 26-4 ATS last 30 games as a home underdog. That is unbelievable. As we all know, Mike Tomlin is one heck of a coach when he is an underdog, and that's just another trend to show that. Bills gone under in 8 of their last 10 games. That total is at 44 points. Lions, how about averaging 32.02 points per game indoors this year? So obviously that's all their home games. They played at the Rams, I believe. This week they're playing in Minnesota, so it is indoors. Their team total is set at 24.5. Colts 11-3 to the over on their team total this year, which is the number one over team on team total. Colts are set at 21.5 this weekend. Browns allowed 4 opponents to score 29 or more points on the road. Like we've talked about, their defense struggles on the road. Texans team total is only set at 19.5 right now, which all 6 opponents have scored over because they've scored 24 or more. Just a note there, CJ Stroud looks like he is going to be out, so that's why you see such a low team total. Titans 4-10 against the spread in the second half, the worst in the league. They're averaging 7.8 points per game in the second half. Seattle -1.5 is the line in the second half. If you like to bet those, I'm not much of a second half better, but Jets 1-7 ATS in the first half at home. That is awful. That's just not good at home. Jets average 5.1 points per game at home in the first half. That's so bad. Jets are -1.5 right now in the first half. Now let's go over to that second page. We got the Panthers gone under their team total in every single home game. Their team total is set at 16.5. Jaguars 9-1 ATS last 9 road games, pretty impressive. They are +1 this weekend. And then Cardinals, it's kind of crazy too, gone under in 6 of 7 road games this year. That's 6. That's under in the total game, not team total. But they've gone over in every single home game, which is just doesn't even make sense to me. But the total for that game is 43. Cowboys 12-1 ATS after a loss since the start of 2021. We have used this a couple times and won both. But also, I just want to give you both sides. So there's really no winner or loser in this one. But the Dolphins are also 18-3 straight up and 15-6 against the spread the last 21 games at home. We got the Dolphins -1.5, Cowboys +1.5. That is the game of the weekend, that's for sure. Patriots 3-14-1 ATS the last 8 games, or 18 games. That is pretty much bet the Patriots at your own risk. Chiefs scored an average of 35.5 points per game in Mahomes' 11 career starts versus the Raiders. Their team total is set at 25.5. Obviously, we all know the Chiefs' offense is not exactly what it used to be right now. Eagles have won by 24 or more points in three of the last four games versus the Giants. They are minus 12 right now in that huge spread. Ravens, to finish it out, they are 19-3-1 ATS their last 23 games as an underdog. That is absolutely bonkers. 19 of their last 23 they've won against the spread. And they are plus five against maybe the best overall team in the NFL right now in the San Francisco 49ers. That actually might be the game of the week on Monday Night Football. So those are the NFL Week 16 trends. Now, before we talk Thursday Night Football, let's check out that free square with Thrive. There it is. Cooper Cup over a half a receiving yard is the free square with Thrive Fantasy. Guys, we got a great 100% first deposit match for new users up to $250. That's right. A lot of people go up to 100. These guys go up to 250. It is free money. Use that promo code Jabo to get that deal. And then they also give you this free square of Cooper Cup. You add it to another leg on a parlay. You get a two-leg parlay, 3, 4, or 5, whatever you want to do. And you get paid. There's the money right there. There's the payouts. It's a great deal. Again, if you want to put 250 in, they give you $250 and a free square to start winning your first parlay. So it's eligible in over 30 states. Got to use that promo code Jabo. All right, it's time. Let's talk some Thursday Night Football. All right, we go out to Los Angeles where the Rams are hosting the New Orleans Saints. We got the Rams minus 4, over under 46 points. ATS against the spread. Saints 4-9-1 this year, fourth worst team in the NFL against the spread. 2-4-1 ATS on the road. Rams 8-5-1 ATS, including 4-3 against the spread at home. Over under Saints 10-4 to the under, tied for the biggest under team with 7 other teams in the NFL. Rams 8-6 to the under. Now, a couple quick notes before I get into my best bet. Saints are coming off absolute beatdown of the New York Giants in New Orleans, and the Rams are coming off a nice win against the Commanders. Went out to a big lead, then kind of cruised to the end. It got a little closer than they wanted, but they still won the game. This is a huge game. Both teams sitting at 7-7 this year, fighting for their playoff hopes. And I'm going to break down the game in my best bet because it's not a player prop. We got a side. Give me the LA Rams minus 4 at minus 110 is my best bet. This line is suggesting that the Rams are only about 2 points, maybe even less, better than the Saints on a neutral field. And to me, that's just not the case. I think the Saints are being a little overvalued right now because of how their defense and team has played the last 2 weeks. But those two games were against Bryce Young and the Panthers and Tommy DeVito and the New York Giants. We're talking about two bad quarterbacks and teams that do not have any weapons. I did expect a better game from the Giants last week. Obviously, I bet them, but that doesn't mean they're actually good. The last 5 quarterbacks that they faced has been Josh Dobbs, Desmond Ritter. By the way, those two guys are now benched. Jared Goff. Okay, there's your first good team. Bryce Young and Tommy DeVito. And in those 5 games, the Saints 2-3. They're not that great of a team, guys. They still got some flaws. Chris Olave is questionable. That does not help. And now they face the Rams, who have an offense with one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. But who I want to talk about a little bit is Kyren Williams. This guy makes the offense go. He makes them really balanced. He's averaging 5.5 yards per carries indoor and 4.8 yards per carry outdoors. I mean, it's a big difference. And when he plays, because he's been hurt a little bit this year, when he plays, Rams averaging 27 points per game. When he doesn't play, 14.25. I mean, it makes a big difference. He also happens to be the league's number one rusher in yards per carry and yards before contact. And speaking of run defense now, the Saints defense struggled against the run. Gave up 228 rush yards against the Falcons, 204 to the Panthers, 228 to the Lions. I mean, it has not been pretty. I know it sounds like I'm talking for Kyren Williams to have a good game, and I think he could. He might not be a bad player prop option, but I just think when he gets going, this Rams offense is tough to stop. And then also, when you got Matthew Stafford back there, he's a statue. So what do you have to do? You got to get pressure on him. Well, the Saints haven't exactly been great at that. They only have a pressure percentage of about 20% and only 30 sacks this season, which is bottom 10 in the league. So if you can't get Stafford off his spot because he's not a mobile quarterback, you're kind of in for a long day. You got the run game. You got Puka Nacua. He's hitting Cooper Kupp within a second almost on every play, it seems like. And then the Rams are also getting an offensive lineman back. So they're getting healthier. It's just not going to be good for them. The Saints are facing a tough trio of Williams, Kupp, Nacua, all those boys. You know what? And the Rams defense hasn't been that bad lately. So I think the Rams kind of cruise to a win. I'm not going to say blowout, but I think they win by 5 or more points in this one as my Thursday night football best bet. And now it's time to talk NFL Week 16 best bets. All right, this first bet of the weekend is an alternate team total parlay. Give me the Bills team total over 23.5, Dolphins team total over 19.5 at minus 115 on DraftKings. Now, let's start with the Bills team total over 23.5. If you don't have alternate team totals, I recommend probably Bills team total over 27.5 on its own. I like what I saw last week from the Bills. They changed offensive coordinators and they used their running back finally. My goodness, the Bills have been missing a running game like none other. It's been unbelievable. All the pressure's always been on Josh Allen, and their commitment to the run last week 25 carries for James Cook for 179 yards. They tore up that Cowboys defense. Josh Allen threw it 15 times and they scored 31 points. That's unheard of out there in Buffalo. And now they get to face the Chargers team who just fired their head coach, Brandon Staley, a year too late, maybe 2 years too late. But their defense just hasn't been good. 30th in pass yards allowed, 18th in rush yards allowed, 28th in points allowed. They have given up 24.6. I just need 24 out of this Bills offense. Um, to be honest with you, and the Bills also average 27.1 points per game. Even if they have a little below average and score 24, we still cash this. I give me the Bills to score 24 plus. I think they're going to be able to run on the Chargers. I think they're going to just pass up and down this field. And I know it may be a bad spot. They had a big home game against the Cowboys and all that kind of stuff. But guys, the Bills are fighting for their playoff lives right now. They have to win every single game if they want to make the playoffs. More than likely, maybe lose one, but they don't have time for a letdown. And I think they're rolling. They're feeling some confidence again. They have a chance still at the AFC East, so we'll see. But I think the Bills' offense comes out to play and scores 24 or more points. Now, the second leg, Dolphins team total over 19.5. That's right, I took this down. This is a wild stat between the Dolphins and the Cowboys, one of the games of the weekend. This is the first time in NFL history that we have had a game between two teams that have 20 or more combined wins. Okay, these two teams have 10 wins each, but only one or fewer wins versus teams above 500. Again, I will repeat that. First time in NFL history we've had a game with two teams combining for 20 or more wins, but out of those 20 or more wins, they've only had one or fewer wins versus a team over 500. These are two teams that a lot of people like to call frauds. I mean, this is called the Fraud Bowl already. That's a little steep, but you know how I feel about both teams. I think the Dolphins struggle a little bit against, or they always struggle against good teams, and the Cowboys do the same. And the Cowboys struggle on the road, actually, is really what it is. So, but we're just talking Dolphins offense here to score 20 points. That's it, just 20 points. Cowboys giving up 22.3 points per game on the road. Not bad, but we broke this down last week, and I'm going to say it one more time. They have faced four terrible offenses on the road and three really good offenses. Against the good offenses, the Bills, Eagles, and 49ers, they've allowed 33.66 points per game. Those three games were on the road. So I'm talking good offenses on the road. Obviously, the Dolphins qualify as that. They're one of the best offenses in the league. Dolphins average 36 points per game. I don't see them scoring 36 in this one, but all we need is 20. I mean, this shouldn't be a problem. They've scored 20 or more in every single game this season except one. So give me the Dolphins to score 20 plus points and the Bills to score 24 or more points as bet number one. All right, this next one is ugly. Takes us out to Carolina. We got the Panthers hosting the Green Bay Packers. Packers -5, over under 37.5. Against the spread, Packers 7-7, 3-4 on the road. Panthers 3-9-2 ATS, 2-3-1 ATS at home. Over under, Packers 8-6 to the over. Panthers 10-4 to the under. One of the biggest under teams in the NFL. There is a trend on this one. Not why I took the bet, but there's a trend. The Panthers have gone under their team total in 6 home games. All 6 home games. That's insane. Now, my best bet in this game, it's the under. What else can you go with, guys? These are two ugly teams. Give me the under 37.5 in this game. Honestly, the Panthers, they score 12.8 points per game at home. 12.8. It is ugly. They are practically a lock to score under 20 points when they're at home every single time. Packers averaging 23.1 points per game on the road. It's okay. It's not bad. But the Panthers defense has been much better than people think, especially at home. They are only giving up 20 points per game at home compared to 28 points per game on the road. We talked about this earlier this year. They've just been much better. We're talking Jordan Love versus Bryce Young here, guys. Jordan Love is starting to hit a rookie wall again after a few games where he looked good, and Bryce Young hit the rookie wall in week 1. I mean, he has been horrendous. In his defense, his O-line isn't good. He has no weapons around him. His coach already got fired. It's been a absolute shit show in Carolina. So Panthers, they are allowing, get this, the second fewest passing yards per game in the NFL when at home. I mean, that is pretty legit. It's around 155 yards per game. And a lot of people have kind of talked about it, but the Panthers have a decent defense, especially considering they're on the field practically all the time because the offense can't do anything. But their pass defense means it's going to be up to the running game of the Packers. They haven't been that great. Aaron Jones hit and miss with injuries. AJ Dillon's banged up again. They are 21st, averaging 103 rush yards per game this season. None of these quarterbacks scare me. Panthers, I love how they play at home. Four of the Panthers' six home games have stayed under 37.5 points. Give me the under in a very ugly game that nobody, and I repeat, nobody, should be watching on Christmas Eve. All right, my final bet before we get to that juicy trends parlay. It is a 6-point teaser. Give me the Texans plus 8.5, Vikings plus 9 at minus 120 on DraftKings. So, for those of you that don't know what a teaser is, I'm taking the normal line, adding 6 points in my favor to each one, and it's minus 120 on DraftKings. If you're getting minus 130, 140 on some sports books, I don't love it, to be honest with you. I do like minus 120. But let's start with the Texans plus 8.5. So their original line is plus 2.5, taking it all the way to 8.5. They are more than likely without CJ Stroud. I do understand that, and that's why this line flipped from the Texans being favored to them being underdogs. Nico Collins, their best wide receiver, may be back this week, but he is still questionable. It would definitely help out this offense. Last week, Texans were gritty. They went on the road to Tennessee without their top two receivers, with their backup quarterback, and they won. It was a really gritty win by them. Defense played well, especially the D line. Case Keenum is the quarterback for the Texans. He's a veteran. He's one of the better veteran backup quarterbacks you can have in the league. He's been around for a while. And the crazy part about this is when you think about this game. So they're playing against the Browns. The Browns have the number one defense at home. Number one defense. They are now officially dead last. They are the worst defense on planet Earth when they are on the road. I have never seen this before where some team is the number one defense at home and the very dead last worst defense on the road. It's insane. 13.1 compared to 31.7 given up on the road. And that's embarrassing, to be honest with you. That's just a lack of effort, lack of focus, whatever it is. But you know what? Browns fans are probably used to stuff like that. I'm a Mariners fan, so I get all that crappiness. But anyways, we have to think about it this way: the Texans are now playing the worst defense in the league because they are on the road, and now they're going to be without one of their leading tacklers, their safety. Texans are averaging 24.7 points per game at home. I know that's with CJ Stroud. I get that, but I still think this defense can or offense can do enough to stay within 8. And Texans this year, they are gritty, man. I like D'Amico Ryans. I like this team. They have only lost by more than 8 points one time at home. That's it, one time, and that was all the way back in week 2 is to the Colts somehow. But they've been just in every single game. So I love getting plus 8.5. And they're playing my twin, Joe Flacco. I know people keep saying in the comments I look like Joe Flacco. I think I do. Either him or Adam Sandler. Leave a comment below. Let me know who I look more like. But anyways, Flacco played 3 games so far this year for the Browns. He lost by 17 to the Rams on the road. His only road game. Beat the Jags by 4 at home and beat the Bears by 3 at home. That was kind of a miracle. I don't think they come into Houston and play this gritty team and win by more than one score at all. So give me the Texans plus 8.5. Now let's go to the Vikings plus 9.5. They are hosting the Detroit Lions. We have now won in 2 weeks in a row 2 bets on the Lions games. We have faded them versus the Bears and won easily, and we tailed them versus the Broncos and won easily. So I've had a pretty decent read on them. Let's see if we can make it 3 in a row. The Vikings. It's the big NFC North battle, and Vikings. It's been unreal, but they have been surprisingly good on defense. And the biggest stat, they've never lost by more than 8 points all season. That counts home or away. Never ever lost more than 8 points. And the reason for that is that defense. And when you got a good defense, it's hard to lose by many points. They always keep you in it. They've given up the 7th fewest points with 19.2 points per game. The 5th fewest rushing yards, which is obviously huge to have a good run defense when you are playing the Detroit Lions with Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, and those boys. And then the Lions on defense, they've given up the 9th most points in the NFL on the road. We know they struggle a little bit more on the road. Nick Mullins is the quarterback. Yes, on this bet, I am tailing Case Keenum and Nick Mullins. That's right. But again, I'm getting some more points than usual. Mullins has had success in this league for the Niners. Last week, he came in through 303 yards and 2 TDs. He did have 2 picks. As long as he can take care of the ball, this Vikings defense, I think they have a very good chance to keep this close and possibly win the game. And obviously, as we know, divisional games they stay close. As you kind of saw, see the Bears game last week. Not even just close, but just strange in general because teams know each other more. The Bears put a beat down on the Lions last week. I know the Lions struggle on the road. I always talk about it. They really struggle outdoors, and this is obviously not going to be outdoors. This is going to be inside. So Lions will score some points, but I can see like a 24-21 type of game in this one. So I'd gladly take the 9 points with the Vikings. Give me them and the Texans plus 8.5 as my third and final bet of the weekend. And now let's check out the trends parlay. All right, can we make it three winners in a row in the last 4 weeks with the trends parlay? Give me the Steelers plus two, Colts team total over 21.5, and the Texans team total over 19.5 at the same odds as last week, plus 548. I'm just going to tell you the trend and just talk very briefly about each one. Steelers plus two. And by the way, if you skipped through the beginning part, we have pages of trends that have done unreal. And these are just three bets based on what those trends give us. So the trend on the Steelers 26-4 ATS the last 30 games as a home underdog. Now, backing the Steelers is hard to do. They've let me down this year. They just sometimes look terrible. But I'll just back the trend on this one. Bengals are due for a loss with Jake Browning. They somehow pulled out a win against the Vikings last weekend, and I think they got a little lucky. But they are going to be without Jamar Chase, which is absolutely huge. I think the Steelers bounce back. And playing as a home underdog, obviously with Mike Tomlin, you got to love to back it. So give me the Steelers plus two. Second one, Colts team total over 21.5. The trend on this one, Colts 11-3 to the over on their team total, the number one team total over team. I don't know if I said that right, but that's what they are. I don't really have a lot to say about this except Colts offense should be able to put up some points here in a dome inside. Falcons are a pretty decent defense, but I think the Colts can still put up some points. They're averaging 24.6 points per game on or any game this season, home or away. So that's the second leg. Third leg, Texans team total over 19.5. This is actually almost the best bet of mine. The trend here, Browns have allowed four opponents to score 29 or more points on the road. All six opponents have scored 24 or more points. Like I've said, they are the worst defense on planet Earth when it comes to being on the road. I think it's a low team total, and it's obviously because Case Keenum's at quarterback and not C.J. Stroud. But I think they can move the ball enough to get to 20 points. So that's my trends parlay: Steelers plus two, Colts team total over, Texans team total over, plus 548. And now let's finish it up with the head-to-head bet. All right, it's time for the head-to-head bet between me and Ryan. I have dug out of my hole, and I am now putting an absolute beat down on him at 8-5 record on the year. He is 5-8, and we got a big juicy game to talk about. We got the Cowboys at the Dolphins. I am going to take the Dolphins minus 1.5. Ryan has the Cowboys plus 1.5. Ryan, going back to the same team, huh?
Yeah, I sure am. I couldn't get out of bed. Got home way too late from work. Tried to get on and get editing the video and doing the video, so that's why I had no bet for today. Couldn't force it, but still want to do the head-to-head now. The Dolphins, Dak Prescott and the boys, C.D. Lamb. They're a good team. A home. They gotta figure out a way to win away, and I think this is more of a gut pick. It's just a feeling pick. I know I went with the under. That was a great pick. I picked the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. Can't back off. Total gut pick. At some point in time, they gotta figure out how to do it, and I think this is the moment. Reason being, Dolphins suck against good teams, and the Cowboys are a good team. So that could be my saving grace right here. And I basically win one, a point and a half. I can do it. Cowboys can do it. Come on, Dak. Let's do it.
Okay, two things on that. First of all, the Cowboys can't beat really good teams either, especially on the road. And we already talked about that stat earlier. Second of all, there's one solution. If you're a Cowboys fan, there's one solution to get the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. There's one. Do you want to know which way that is?
Well, I don't
Okay.
want them to win the Super Bowl, but I picked them, so I kind of
Well,
want them that way.
they have a chance. They have a chance. They need to listen to me right now. Jerry Jones, you need to pay Roger Goodell a crap ton of money for every game to be in Dallas through the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Anyways, let me talk about this game real quick. Cowboys have given up the fifth most rush yards per game on the road. You think that's a good idea against the Dolphins and Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane? Do you think that's a good idea? Probably not. They're a top five run offense. They are giving up the Cowboys 148.3 rush yards per game. They got absolutely chewed up and spit out by James Cook last week. They've been like that pretty much against any good team on the road. And the Dolphins have given up the second least amount of points in the last 3 weeks. Like I've said before, with Jalen Ramsey Xavier Howard, these guys are healthy and playing well on defense that nobody's talking about. They are only giving up 14.3 points per game in the last 3 weeks. Guys, I, I'm going to be honest with you. Obviously, I've trashed the Dolphins for playing good teams and not beating them, but the Cowboys are right there. I'm so interested to see how this game is, to see who the less of a fraud team
Yeah.
is, I guess I'll say. Is that a good way to put it?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I just think the Dolphins are going to win. Their run game's going to control it. Um, if the Cowboys can play like they do at home, then of course they can win this. But they have not shown they can do that versus a good offense yet.
So
So
yeah,
that's
like
what.
like I said, I don't have the stats or anything to back it up. You're absolutely right, writing all those things. I can't back away from the pick that I had at the beginning of the season with the Cowboys. And in order for them to go deep, like you said, in the playoffs and stuff like that, they got to get home field advantage. This is a chance to kind of take that with the NFC East. So this is just my gut. Them gonna finally break through and do it at least one time this entire season. Please, just one time. That's all I need. One time.
Time. Well, the Seahawks, our Seahawks, helped them out by beating the Eagles
Mm-hmm.
on Monday Night Football. That's for sure. But, anyways, I got the Dolphins -1.5. Ryan Cowboys +1.5 in the comments below. Put Team Steven or Team Ryan. Again, just need to remind everybody, just so everyone knows, especially if you're new to the channel, Ryan is spelled Loser. That's how you spell it. Steven with a PH. All right. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you hopping on. That is the head-to-head bet, and that wraps it up for us. Let's check out the bets recap. All right, there it is. It's kind of an ugly slate this weekend, to be honest with you, but we got some winners, hopefully. Thursday Night Football, simple. Give me the Rams, -4, -110. Number two, alt line parlay, alt team total line parlay. Bills team total over 23.5, Dolphins team total over 19.5. That's at -115 on DK. If you do not have that, I'd probably go Bills team total over 27.5 on its own. Third bet, under 37.5, Green Bay, Carolina. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Just give me an ugly defensive game. That's at -110. And then I finish it with a 6-point teaser. Give me the Texans +8.5, the Vikings +9 at -120 on DraftKings. And then we got that trends parlay going for our third win in 4 weeks. Steelers +2, Colts team total over 21.5, and the Texans team total over 19.5. And then there it is, the head-to-head bet. I am 8-5. Ryan's 5-8. I got the Dolphins -1.5. Ryan has the Cowboys +1.5. Man, that was fun. That wraps up the Week 16 NFL show. Again, the NFL player props that we have been rolling on, that will be late Friday night. It's going to be a weird weekend. It's the holiday weekend, and we got a lot of family things going on. So, we'll stick with it through Friday and then just bear with us over the weekend and Monday games and all that and see where we're at. But we'll keep you guys posted as to what videos come out and things like that. So, anyways, hope everyone has a great rest of their week, and we will talk to you soon.